You're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on.
Welcome back to the Big Money Big Daddy Show. It's Dale Pieper, Mark Conley, and we got our guest, Brent Young with the Freeman Agency. We hope you're enjoying today's show. Kind of a different topic, not just talking about financials or portfolios today. We're kind of taking a different twist and talking about health insurance, Affordable Care Act. We're going to talk a little bit about HCAs. But I think before we get into that, just kind of a couple questions that were kind of coming to my mind while we were talking about the ACA as far as just the employees and types of employees. Does it matter, when you're talking about anywhere from 1 to 99 or whatever that range is, does it matter if it's W-2 or is it 1099? Kind of how does that affect the employer?
There's actually, and this is another fun part of ACA, is that all of those companies now get to track how many employees they have and what their full-time equivalent is as well. So 1099s, you throw them out the window. A 1099 employee is not a true employee, and there are 1099 laws. You can't tell them where to go, and you can't have certain amount of equipment that they can use, and so on and so forth. So 1099s, you kind of take them out the window. But any W-2s, and it's not just your full-time 30-hour a week employees. It's also part-time, or what they call full-time equivalent, or seasonal. A good landscaping companies are a good example, is that they have a lot of seasonal employees. They're pretty busy in the summer, and in the winter they're not. So they're going to look at that full-time equivalent. There's actually at the Freeman Agency, we have the resources for the companies to track that, and that's something that you have to track now, part of ACA, to do this 1055, 1056 reporting. So it's not only is it more is the law change, that aspect as far as what kind of coverages we can get, but also the reporting is completely changed. So you and your staff are spending a lot of time dealing with something that you just didn't have to deal with before. And so that goes back to let the Freeman Agency help you as much as we can so you can focus on revenue, because trust me, filling out a report on how many employees you have on a monthly basis, you're not making any money on that.
So I assume what that means is y'all help them create those reports?
Yeah, so we have the reporting available. We also have a couple of preferred payroll vendors that we'll go through that'll really help them do that as well. So yeah, we're full course consultants, to where at the end of the day we want to make sure that we're giving you your benefits at a good cost. We want to make sure you're compliant. We talk about the ACA, and then we want to talk about good communications.
Those are the 3 C's of the Freeman Agency.
Yes, we call them the 3 C's. I don't know where we came up with it, but I think it's because it said cost, compliance, and communications.
I like it.
Cookie Monster said C is for cookie.
Yeah, well, Cookie Monster was not on affordable health care.
Awesome. One of the things, Brent, that I was just thinking about, obviously being here in Houston, there's a lot of oil and gas companies, and depending on the price of oil and everything going on, a lot of times there's layoffs. And so people that are listening out there sometimes are thinking, what happens if I get laid off, or I just got laid off, and how does that impact?
Well, one of the things that I hear all the time is, oh my goodness, COBRA is so expensive. Do you know what COBRA is? COBRA is the true cost of healthcare. So when you get your COBRA premiums, and say for your family it was $2,000 a month, and you're used to be paying $100 a paycheck, you're thinking, oh my gosh, COBRA is so expensive. No, that's what Exxon or Chevron or whoever your employer was paying for those benefits. And so obviously you can take the COBRA, there's COBRA laws, you can extend those benefits for 18 months. You're on the same exact policy. You're basically treated like an employee of whatever company that you just left. If you're under 20 employees and you were laid off, there's what's called Texas state continuation. Basically the same thing, it's just a less amount of time, it's 9 months. And so I've helped transition some of those employees as well, because you can, like I said, one of the good things of ACA is, whereas before, if you were laid off, you might have had a health condition to where you couldn't get a good private policy. Well, now, obviously, there's no health condition. So if you're laid off and you've had a heart surgery or something, you can get some type of individual policy. And so I always say, shop it, be smart, be a consumer of healthcare, and take a look at it. Don't just say, oh my goodness, COBRA is so much. And typically, in this industry, as people, especially with oil and gas, as it's gone down, it's a peak and valley business. Oil's going to pick back up. Everybody's going to get their jobs back again, hopefully in a temporary matter. So a lot of times it's just a temporary basis that you're getting these plans, and you can always drop them.
I think that a lot of people are always wondering about that, and they kind of want to hear a little bit about that. Just talking about group insurance in general, and just to, as we kind of finish out the segment that we have, I want to have just to kind of, if you could map out for the listeners as a business owner, if you are just, and I'll kind of talk a little bit of some of the things that you said. So if you're basically going to be in that range between 50 to 99 employees, there are some things that you could do if you wanted to do it by October that may prevent you from going into just pricing that's just basically based on zip code at the end of the day.
Yeah, so typically, when does a business owner look at insurance? They're looking at insurance right after they got their renewal, and they open it up and they're like, oh my God, Brent, it went up 30%. What are we going to do? Shop the market. Well, now we just got to be a little bit more proactive because the laws have changed, and especially changed for those from 50 to 99 employees. So yeah, be proactive. So your current benefit provider, or if you're using us, we all get paid the same. And so we do what we call reinvesting back into our clients. And so we do, like I said, we have 24-hour service, and we're going to help you have a benefit booklet that's going to be a good value to your employees. We reinvest back into our clients so they see the value that we're bringing. It goes back to those 3 C's: cost, compliance, and communication. And so when we're doing that, obviously we're hoping to bring you enough value where you're never going to leave us. But the other thing is that we want to make sure that your employees are knowledgeable of this huge bill that you get every month of paying for these benefits. We want to make sure that they know what they have. I tell this to people all the time.
Yeah, and because that goes along with the Cobra thing that you're talking about.
It goes along with Cobra.
They think Cobra's expensive, but that's really what it costs. That was a real benefit that they were getting, and that they just didn't know it until they got to the Cobra.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If I were to walk down the 59 freeway right here and ask every single person how much it costs to go to the doctor, they would probably all say whatever their copay is what they would say. $30, $25, $45, whatever it is. That's what they would say.
Which is interesting, because if you asked everybody, what their car insurance was or their life insurance, they actually know what the actual insurance cost is, or what they answer with health insurance isn't really what the insurance cost is.
No, I tell people all the time. I mean, the healthcare industry, name one other place where you are a customer of a business where you walk in and there is not a price chart. When you go to the doctor, there is not a menu on the wall that says, okay, I need to get a colonoscopy today and check my blood pressure medicine and whatever. No. What do you get? You get a bill at the end of the time, and a lot of times the insurance is just paying for it. And so you have no idea.
Wait a second. I just thought of one. It's when you go to the seafood place and it has that market price for the lobster.
Correct. Correct. But you can ask.
You can ask.
Try asking your insurance person at the doctor's office how much this is going to cost you.
Right.
Well, we'll get back to you on that one, sir. That's typically what you're going to get. And I liken it to, it'd be like walking into a car dealership and saying, okay, all right, I'll take that car. That car looks great. And you drive away in this nice 550 Mercedes, and then you get a bill for $110,000. Well, I didn't want to spend $110,000 on a Mercedes. Well, I'm sorry, there was no window sticker.
I mean, it is crazy, because you think about it. It would be, a perfect world would be nice if everybody knew what they were paying, and then hospitals had to fight for business just like every other industry does. It's that's an intriguing way of looking at it.
I tell all my clients, I have a passion. I believe that the healthcare industry was not broken. I believe that our education system about healthcare was broken. And it goes back to that, what do people think that it really costs to go to the doctor? And so when I'm doing my benefit meetings, and the way that we like to do them at the Freeman Agency is not only, we've all been in a benefits meeting where you're sitting there and half the people are staring at the wall or picking their nose and not listening to the insurance slob that's up there talking about how great benefits are. So your employees aren't getting any value of it. But we like to do a big overall meeting and then actually have one-on-one counselor meetings with every single employee at their firm. And the reason why we're doing that is we want to make sure that those benefits, whether they're good or bad, are communicated properly. And statistics show that if you communicate, even if they're bad benefits, properly, they know what they're going to get. They're going to see value in that. I am very, very big on communications. And then I think that if us as America knew what it costs to go to the doctor, we would not be in this crisis, as they call it, that we were in.
So I think, and you were kind of mentioning the other day, kind of when we were talking about the benefit of the communication, not only to the employee, but the employers. If you had a employee working at one company and then they were thinking about leaving to go to the one across the street, maybe to earn $500 more a month, but he didn't realize that they were maybe paying an extra $1,500 towards their health care benefits, maybe that wasn't such a good transition.
Correct. We want to make sure that that employee sees the value in the dollar that company is investing into that employee.
Yeah, and it makes me think a lot in our investment world with the clients that we deal with. You know, a lot of times we'll ask a client, we'll say, hey, what do you pay for your cost for your investment portfolio? And the most common answers, they'll say, we pay 1% per year. Well, that's normally what they're actually paying their advisor. And then there's also trading costs. There's also potentially commissions. There's stated management costs, maybe for mutual funds. There could be hidden costs associated with a lot of trading, or what we call as turnover. So it is interesting that you have that philosophy of communicating the value. If the business is spending that money, communicate the value to the employees. Make sure that they understand how good the business owner's doing for them. And we look at it the same way: is people need to know what they're really actually paying for their investment portfolios.
Mark, I have people that come up to me all the time after an educational meeting. I like to call it that, as opposed to an enrollment meeting. And they say, Brent, I spent $100 a paycheck for this insurance. I didn't go to the doctor one darn time. I didn't go at all. And I just look at them and I said, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? No, I didn't get anything out of this. So, well, you have a car, right? Yeah. You have car insurance, right? Yeah. Did you go wrap it around a telephone pole so you could use your car insurance? No. So it's a blunt statement, but it's effective, because you know what that employee realized was that, wow, there was some value to this. There's a value in me being at work. There's a value of me not getting sick and running off to the doctor all the time, being a consumer of healthcare, knowing what I'm getting, asking my doctor's questions. And at the end of the day, that employee is going to be more productive. And a more productive employee means they're not going to probably be looking for another job. They're going to like it. And you're going to, as a business owner, going to make more money off of a productive employee.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting when you talk about the 3 C's, and you talk about the cost, not necessarily the price. So in your business, everybody has the exact same price.
If you're a certain size, it's roughly 4.5%. So as a business owner, you can pull out your Humana bill and you take 4% off of that, and that's what your current advisor is making, roughly. And so, the easy thing for me to do would be to sign up a client and say sayonara, because I'm going to make 4.5%. But we don't want to do that, because we want our clients to see the value that we're providing. And that's what it goes into, that reinvesting into our clients. It costs us a lot of money to produce these things that we do, but we do it because we want to make sure that the value that we're bringing will help that business grow. I talked to a business owner today, and I love startup companies. They're one of the things that I just love. And he called me today. I said, Barry, how's business going? He said, you know what? It's great. Matter of fact, I got 2 new hires that I'm sending over. Those are my favorite kind, because you know what? I feel in a small part, I educated them properly. Their employees have good benefits. I set them up on a good benefits. It's cost effective, and they are growing. And I'm a little small part of this business that hopefully will make a bunch of people a bunch of money.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know I've had a lot of happy clients that we've referred to the Freeman Agency. Make sure you give your information out, because there's probably listeners that want to give you a call.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always just call me at 281-890-7069. You can also email me at brent@thefreemanagency.com, and that's THE freemanagency.com, or just visit our website, which is the same thing, freemanagency.com.
And that brings us to the bop, bang, boom, hard truth minute that only a good Big Daddy would tell you. Well, today on the show, we talked about Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, they're the largest, but they're out of the individual PPO business. Affordable Care Act, tackle the problems and don't complain about it. Listen, you've got until October to do something if you're about between 50 and 99 employees. Also, the new wellness health insurance plans, hey, they're pretty awesome. Listen, if you do get laid off, you need to be a good consumer of health insurance and find the right deal for your family. Why don't doctors, by the way, have a price menu like every other business? That's kind of interesting. If you communicate benefits to your employees, they're going to see the real value, and that will be real savings that are delivered to your company.
That's pretty much putting a close to today's show. We definitely appreciate Brent taking the time and educating not only our audience, but obviously our clients. I know he does a great job for everybody that we refer to him. That's big on what we do, is obviously just to schedule a time, give Brent a call. Y'all have got his contact information, but he'd love just to come out, have a conversation with you, see if there's an opportunity for him to help. If y'all have got questions, comments on today's show, feel free to reach out to us at 713-826-0426. You can call or text at that number. Email us at bmbd@wealthdesigngroup.net or message us on the Big Money Big Daddy Facebook page.
Big Money Big Daddy.
I've had enough of scheming and messing around with jerks. My car is parked outside, I'm afraid it doesn't work. I'm looking for a partner, someone who gets things fixed. Ask yourself this question, do you want to be rich?
Hypothetical examples discussed are not intended to suggest a particular course of action or represent the